This is about parts of a window. To get started, the first thing I'm going to do is go to the top and double click on computer. If you're ever looking on your hard drive, you'll notice that you sometimes come to a screen such as this. If you wanted to take a look at your hard drive and look in parentheses, you'll notice that it'll give you the number of sections or partitions that you have for the hard drive that is in your computer. And in this case, it tells me I have 6 with different labels. Furthermore, I'll notice in this area, if I have a removable type of storage device, let's say a CD-ROM or a DVD burner, in addition to that, sometimes we may even go in and add a USB flash drive. If I look in this area, which is called removable storage, I'll be able to see those particular items here. So by default, it's saying, okay, these are the number of removable storage devices that you do have. If I look over on the left side, this is called the navigation pane, and what it does is it allows me to take a look at my computer and be able to see the different areas for files, folders that I can access. Primarily, if I'm looking at libraries, I can click on documents so I can see the folders as well as the files, or maybe even subfolders that are in that particular area. The same would apply for music, pictures, and videos. Furthermore, if I'm starting at the very top, I'll notice that there is a back button. If I click it, it takes me to the previous screen that I was on. If I select this button, it's going to move me forward based on the previous screen selection that I had. Furthermore, if I look here, I'll notice that this is referred to as the address bar. And what that does is, if I click on a particular section of my computer, I'll notice that, for instance, I'm in the library folder and the subfolder here is documents. Well, the address bar tells you your location because here you can see the main folder and then there's the subfolder. Moving over to the right side of the screen, I can also see search documents. So based on the location, for instance, libraries and documents is where I currently am. If I wanted to perform a search in this folder, because I do know that there should be a file present with a particular name, it will actually search that area in terms of the file content, the folder name, or the file name just to determine if that file exists. So if I click in the search documents area, I might type in the word "you." And so if I want to see any of those items that contain that word, the computer instantly does a search without me having to even hit enter, and it brings back those items that it believes, or actually that it found, that contain those particular words. And so here it's actually gone in to highlight them. Further down, I get into this area which is referred to as a toolbar, and what the toolbar does is it gives you the ability to work with different files and folders, but yet you can undo certain actions that you may have performed, like maybe you deleted a file or a folder, you want to bring it back, then what you can do is you can click undo. If you decide that you want to save some of the searches that you've conducted, for instance, I typed in the word "you" and I want to go back and use it again later, I can by clicking on Save Search. If I wanted to burn a CD-ROM, I would have the ability to do that same particular task as well. If I move across and I look at this area, this is going to let me change the view of my window. So for example, if I look here, I can see what my view looks like. What's pretty neat is that if I click on the drop down arrow, I can use extra large icons if I have difficulty seeing, and if I wanted to go back and make them a little bit smaller but make them large, I can click on that. If I want to make sure they're medium size, I click on it and my view changes. If I want those items to be small icons, I can do that as well. If you want to see a list but yet you don't want to see the file name of the items that are over here, click on List and you get that type of linear view. One of my favorites is Details, because when you click on Details, you get this column heading which shows you the name of the column for the files and folders that you see. You have the ability to see the date that you modified those items. You can look and see what type of file it is. And if you move over further, if the size is available, it'll show you that also, as well as where is that particular item located. So it gives you that folder path. Furthermore, if you were to click on the drop down, you can have tiles so that you can just have an idea of what that looks like. And then the last one in this case is content. So each one of those areas varies depending upon the selection that you choose at that moment. Another feature is this particular preview pane. And so if you were to click the preview pane, what happens is when you select an item, if an image is available, you'll see that particular preview. So if I clicked on documents, I would have the ability to see the contents of that document. Another thing that I could do is if it was an image, let's say I go over to pictures, if I were to go inside this folder and click on an image, I could see a preview of that image without having to open up that particular file. And then the last piece is using help, because maybe you don't know how to use a particular area. Help and support will actually help you manage this particular area so that you can get further assistance.